The staple of any good season here on Turn 200 is whether or not it features the 2-mile D-Oval Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, California. Rest in peace, King. Tonight will be the 5th time that the Venom Truck Series has graced Auto Club Speedway, and 3 seasons in a row here as well, but tonight is a new challenge because it is the endurance race on the season. 10% longer than a normal race. It is going to be a tough task after a grueling couple of weeks on the short tracks. Tonight will open things up wide and fast, but that does not make it any easier. The Asset Technology Group 220 is on hand, and it is about time to get rolling here. We've got your pre-show coverage here on Turn 200. As always with the Venom Truck Series, it's Tommy Cook and it's Matt Williamson who will be alongside here momentarily. Let's take a look at the point standings. Things have changed a little bit towards the top of the standings. Of course, we're just 6 races away now from cutting it off for the first ever Venom Truck Series playoffs. Really, the first ever Venom Truck Series chase, if you rather. John Kay's had a rough couple of weeks, but he is still up at the top of the standings, only by 21 points now, as Jan Van Leer has won 2 races in a row, and Hunter Engrav missed 1 race, was the last driver in the running order last week. So he's had a rough couple of races, to say the least. He's down to 3rd. Of course, we're looking from 10th on up. It is now Kyle Zittel in possession of the final playoff position. Rodney Matney, the Daytona season winner, had been right in that cut line for the last few weeks. He has now fallen out of the chase, but still only 10 points behind. Steve Vroman has moved up a spot. Garrett Rainey has moved down 1 spot. Jeremy McKinnon and Brantley Gainey remain in the top 15. Other movers, Dan Miglin has jumped up 2 spots. He broke that tie for 8th, moved up to 7th. Josh Freed and Paul Ellison have moved down in the standings as a result. Andy Poliski has also moved up a couple of positions, as well as the jump for Jan Van Leer after a 2nd consecutive victory last week at North Wilkesboro. But the JVL strategy of staying out and not pitting under an ungodly amount of cautions will not work here tonight. At least it certainly doesn't seem possible, because this is the big 2-mile Auto Club Speedway. Here is some of the past results and stats here from Auto Club. Of course, 4 times previously we've been here, including the last 2 seasons in a row. Andy Poliski has won here twice, and he is flanked on either side of his victories by Jeff Langston, who pulled that off in the inaugural race in series history way back in round 1 of season 1, was here at Auto Club. And of course, Brody Gunter took the victory here last season under the lights. But Poliski, when he's led a lap, he has taken the race. So will the 32 truck take his first victory of the season here? We will have to see. Qualifying is about to wrap up. We'll have cars on track for the warm-up when we return to coverage of the Venom Truck Series. It's the Asset Technology Group 220 from Auto Club Speedway around the turn on Turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon keep, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until he landed in the divine dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
Welcome back to live coverage of the Venom Truck Series here on Turn 200 from Auto Club Speedway. Matt Williamson, it's quickly become kind of a meme, but kind of reality as well. Auto Club Speedway, our home away from home. Rest in power, King. Welcome back.
Yep, it is always great to be here at Auto Club Speedway. Any way we can get it, because it will no longer be in person. So anytime we can get there on the sim, that is as good as it's going to get for us. And it's always a great race here, no matter if it's the trucks, if it's the Lotus 79, if it's the IR18. Always a great show here at Auto Club.
Yeah, so the update today for iRacing was just a small patch. Unfortunately, the patch seems to have affected multiple drivers' force feedback. So that is going to make things pretty interesting for the drivers who are relying on and are comfortable with higher force feedback, or really the use of force feedback at all in some cases. So that is going to be a wrinkle here to an already pretty interesting race. It's the trucks long here, the endurance race here at Auto Club, a track that is 6 lanes wide. Most drivers are going to stick to the top and the bottom, some middle running. What typically wins the day here if you're looking to start a race at Auto Club? What's your mindset usually?
I mean, you got to be consistent, and you got to be a little bit patient, especially here in an endurance race. You got to be ultra patient. You know that you're going to migrate from, the bottom lanes up towards the top lanes as the tire wear goes. So you got to be able to run all of the lanes effectively and know when you're going to have to start walking it up the racetrack and when not to. Those are going to be your big keys here. I mean, of course, just all-out pace helps as well. But in an endurance race, you got to have a lot of patience and play it safe as well.
It is the oval home race on the season for Jan van Leer, who's won the last 2 races in a row, and he has had speed all season. It's not fair to say he lucked into the last 2 wins because he played his strategy and the cautions fell his way, but still, he had to play tremendous defense to get both of those victories. But he's had pace on all the big ovals, really everywhere this season, not just the ovals. But Jan, for what would be a historic 3rd win in a row here tonight, I'd say he's on for it. The pressure is on for at least a good finish. He's now 2nd in the points. A couple of other drivers, as we saw the point standings earlier, have moved into the chase, have moved out of the chase, have fallen outside of the top 15. This is a big pressure race. For one driver in particular, I would say, Andy Poliski, who we've seen win here before in Season 6. He is still looking for that first victory on the season. He's had 2 podium finishes in his last 3 races, if I'm not mistaken. And this is a racetrack he's won at twice. Is Poliski somebody you're keeping an eye on here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, Andy, he hasn't been able to put together really the finishes this season, so this is going to be a great opportunity for him to get back on the right track. Of course, I mean, with the format for the season, it's going to help him a bunch as long as he gets into the playoffs, he gets to reset. And, I mean, if he's peaking at the right time, he could have a great shot at the championship still. So things are not doom and gloom for the 32, but he's certainly looking for that step in the right direction.
Of course, 8 starts this season. He's missed 1 race, but 2 third places and a second place, including a third last week at North Wilkesboro for the Season 5 champ. He'll look to get the ship righted here tonight with a victory, but he'll have 32 other drivers, 33 in all, that are gunning for the win here tonight in the Asset Technology Group 220, the endurance race for Season 8 here at Auto Club Speedway. And with his 8th career pole, the 3rd of the season, Chad Stearns in the 05 will lead the field to green. Luke Peterson has finished 2nd here the last 2 seasons in a row. Is tonight finally the night that Peterson, who was coming off of a 2nd place finish last week, can finally get that one better and get himself his first career victory. Brody Gunter is last season's winner here. He is back for the first time this season. So Gunter will line up in the 3rd position. Hunter Engrav has had a couple of rough weeks, to say the least. He will start in 4th. Brantley Gainey is back in the top 5 starting positions. He starts in 5th. Josh Freed finished outside of the top 20 last week. He will line up in 6th. There is Andy Poliski, 2 times a winner here at Auto Club. The Season 5 champ will start in the 7th position. Hayden Palumbo will line up to his outside in 8th. John Kay, 3 consecutive finishes outside of the top 10 for the points leader. He will roll off in 9th. And don't sleep on the Pony Express team here tonight. They always have speed here at Auto Club. Kenneth Graves will start in the 10th position tonight. Awesome qualifying run for driver 14. Tyler Logan and Steve Roman on row number 6. Austin Holyfield and Jeremy McKinnon on row 7. Stan Miglin and Rodney Matney, who's fallen out of the chase now. He will start back in 16th with work to do. Paul Ellison, Michael Dean on row 9. Matt Schlosser with an EOL qualifies 19th. His teammate Zach Lockett will round out the top 20. Then the rest of the starting lineup is going to roll through here. Again, 33 drivers in all here tonight at Auto Club Speedway. Matt Williamson, what are the strategy notes? What are the track conditions here under some shade at Auto Club?
Yeah, track conditions looking really good for the drivers right now. 79 degrees, not a lot of wind to contend with, so that'll help on these long straightaways to not have too much of that blowing you around as they roll along here. We have 110 laps around Auto Club here tonight. Pit window is going to be around lap 35, but as the tires start to wear, if you're able to back off the throttle a little bit, you might be able to go a little bit farther. No fast repairs and 3 sets of tires. As always, the sets of tires with the endurance race is going to play a little bit differently, especially than it has for the last couple of weeks on the short tracks with all of the cautions. Drivers are going to have to seriously think about tires here tonight.
And actually, there is an extra set here tonight since it's the endurance race. I forgot to put that in the script, but 5 in all, including the one that's on the truck right now. Chad Stearns, Luke Peterson at the front of the field here at Auto Club Speedway. The Asset Technology Group 220 is underway. Cold tires, hot track. You already see some drivers moving around, wiggling around. Peterson's one of them. Freed is one of them. He goes down into the 22 of Gainey. But everybody for now pointing in the right direction. The scramble is on down the backstretch, though. 3 wide. Further back as Miglin is moving forward. But it Stearns up front, uncontested for now. Battling for second, Peterson and Brody Gunter side by side.
And coming there off of 2, Gainey and Gunter both got down on the apron in turns 1 and 2. And Gainey did not get a great exit. Really broke a couple of packs apart here. You got this front one, and then starting with the Gainey in 6th, you have another one behind him.
Caution is going to come out. Cole Maxwell, Ryan Dye, Rob Williams. Multiple drivers involved there. And that is caution number 1 here on lap 2.
I think Rob Williams may have his day over pretty quick here. The entire front of that truck, including the hood, is completely ripped off. Of course, lots of more time to have fixins going on here, I guess you could say, with the endurance race. But he's going to be many laps down, most likely.
It has been a putrid, miserable season for Ryan Dye. And this is only going to contribute to that as Cole Maxwell drives straight up into the left rear quarter panel. And as Dye is trying to come to a stop, Rob Williams gets turned straight up into him. So that, I mean, it's hard not to take it personal at this point, I would imagine, if you're Ryan Dye.
Man, you see right there. And it looked like, kind of hard to tell. It looked like Jan maybe got into. That's a much better shot. We'll be able to see. No, he didn't. He didn't get into him unless there was some netcode contact there. But you're right, Maxwell really hard up into Dye there, and then you see Williams come crashing in there late. We'll go ahead and back it up so you can get the look at Williams here.
Williams, I think, is going to have help maybe from Jordan Journeau.
Yeah, let's take a look. You see Williams down there at the bottom of the racetrack, or towards the middle, I guess you could say. Journeau up towards the top. You see Matney coming down, and it's actually Rodney Matney, not Journeau. Journeau was on the outside and ends up making some significant contact there with Matney after Matney made contact with Williams. Back that up one more time and get the look from Matney's point of view here, maybe. Matney trying to mark this corner, get a good drive off. Also trying to stay away from those two on the top of the racetrack. And at the same time, Williams was running that middle lane. I think that was just a product of the incident that happened in front of him and trying to stay away from it as much as possible, and a couple of drivers making some more contact there.
Certainly adds on to the despair. Meatball flag already cleared for Ryan Dye, so I think he'll be able to stay on the lead lap. Cole Maxwell still with lengthy repairs to do. Rob Williams' meatball flag is cleared as well. But long way to go in this one still, of course, as we're only, 4 laps into this one, about to take lap number 5.
Yep, about to take number 5 here. We just did. And we're doubling up. Going to go green next time when we take lap number 6. And lots of folks hanging out with us here tonight.
Of course, with this being the Asset Technology Group race, we're going to have some ATG folks hanging out with us here tonight and cheering on Michael Dean. Second season in a row that we've gotten to have the Asset Technology Group sponsoring Venom Truck Series race. Pretty cool. So thanks to Michael Dean for putting that together as always.
And you see Cornelio in the chat. One of those folks cheering on that 73.
And I will say, Michael... Oh, go ahead.
Now, one of the drivers, Joshua Motocek, in here as well. Unable to make it tonight, but still here with us.
Yeah, Motocek coming off his best career finish last week with the Venom Truck Series at North Wilkesboro. Got in that top 10, finally broke through. So excited to see him back on the track. For Michael Dean, he qualified 18th, so not a great qualifying run for Michael, but Dino was like top 5 in practice. I think he ended up 3rd on the charts. So he's got some speed here, and hopefully he can use it to make up some spots here coming to our first restart of the night. here on what will be lap number 6. It is still Stearns and Peterson at the front, and Grav and Gunter now will be on row 2. Back it away. Stearns with a good jump. I don't know if that technically counts as a lane change because he still was on the bottom but went below the apron. Stearns has picked up a few penalties for that this season, but we'll have to wait for the post-race report for that. Meanwhile, Peterson drops back to third. Hunter and Grav up to second now. Last 2 weeks, he's fallen from second to third in the points after a no-show and a 31st place finish last week. He needs a win.
See Gunter right up to the back of Peterson, trying to hold that bottom line. Further back here, Miglin and Poliski side by side.
Poliski holding right where he qualified.
Look at this big run for Gunter for the lead. Crossing it over to the bottom.
Brody with a huge lead, or with a huge run rather, will take the lead. And Stearns can't get back down to the bottom. It's going to allow Peterson to sneak underneath that. And that is Engrav rather going to the lead. That's the wrong black and yellow truck. But Engrav to P1.
Peterson with a good run down the front stretch.
We are packing up, as can happen here at Auto Club, for the first run. Green flag pit stops will break this kind of action up, at least theoretically.
Yeah, and as the tires start to wear, the natural selection will break it up as well.
For those of you on Michael Dean watch, he's up 2 spots since the drop of the green here. Peterson now leading across the line. Engrav back to second. Gunter will slot into third. Stearns starting to go backwards as Palumbo is charging forward on the inside. A lot of new paint schemes on the trucks here tonight, Palumbo included. This is his first alternate scheme all season. But now the problem is the momentum is on the top side. He only has help right now from John Kay.
I don't think Kay is probably going to help him for too long. Kay is looking to be on the move.
Kenneth Graves is around the outside. He turned the purple lap a couple of laps ago. This 14 truck is flying. Teammates with Josh Motacek in the Pony Express stable. And Graves is here to play, making moves to try and get himself up into the top 5. He's going to keep rocketing around the outside here. Graves is good on these big ovals. See him a lot in the super speedway races, but this is a big wide oval, and it is fast. So is he.
Whoa, a little bit of a wiggle there, though.
Yeah, it came down off the wall.
Yeah, nearly got himself up into the wall and tried to pull himself off.
Graves is trying to go. Palumbo's trying to go as well. He'll send it 3 wide there, 4 wide. Gainey rolls out of it. Graves not rolling out of it, but will fall in line behind Stearns here. Wow.
Bold moves early here, but that's what you got to do to put yourself in the good positions.
Engrav has stayed closed up. Now will fade away from Luke Peterson. Michael Dean up another position to 15th. So we got good battling all the way through the field here. Rob Williams bringing that damaged truck back down pit road. Peterson leading here on lap number 12.
There's a look at a couple of the ATG trucks. There's the 73 of Dino.
Up to 15th, not too far behind Paul Ellison here.
Everything's still packed up here.
Unfortunately, we've lost Pascal Samar due to upload packet loss. Graves solidifying his place in line here. Now just a peek to the bottom. Will stay in line. Jumps back up in front of John Kay.
And drivers are going to start really fighting for the second, third, and fourth lanes here as the run goes on. That's where you kind of want to be to get the big runs off of the corners as the tires start to go.
Well, we talk about this track being 6 lanes wide, and you just saw 4 of them in use there.
Kay just about got hard into the back of Graves. Graves now going to pull, Kay now going to pull down to the bottom.
Kay going to try and get this slipstream from Chad Stearns and get himself in front of Graves, but if he doesn't pull it off, he is not going to have any momentum down the backstretch. But Stearns now jumps down with him. Stearns trying to get around Gunter. Kay will slide up in front of Graves, take the spot, and now Palumbo's underneath the 14 to stifle the momentum further of the Pony Express 14. We heard from some drivers in practice. Tire wear maybe a bit higher than usual. Comes with the lack of downforce on this truck compared to what we've had here in season.
Miglin in the wall on the front stretch.
Miglin hit the wall, and Graves made contact with Brantley Gainey as well.
Yeah, a couple of drivers kind of made some evasive maneuvers there, nearly got together.
So Graves, with that point about tire wear, maybe too much too early, started to slip back here a bit. It was good to have him in the top 5.
You know, it is one of those things, this racetrack, you don't think about it too terribly much, but when it comes down to it, it's really important here.
Wow. Miglin just threaded the needle between Graves and Gainey. Nearly put Graves up into the wall. Graves now side draft in with Andy Poliski here to try and hang on to 10th.
They're side by side with Steve Roman.
So 3 wide, including 2 teammates from Broke Guy Racing. Poliski, starting 7th in this race, has not really gone anywhere, but he's a 2-time winner here. He's a series champ. He may know what he's doing. I would imagine maybe trying to save some life in these tires while he can still daisy chain his way to the front of this field.
Yeah, I probably need to point out that when I said that Poliski's not having a great year, for a lot of drivers he's having a great year.
Certainly.
Not for the former champion and not exactly the types of races he was hoping to string together, but has still had some great finishes.
So Peterson keeping Engrav to a truck length, Engrav keeping Gunter to a truck length, and then all hell breaking loose behind Gunter as people are still trying to get things sorted out from 3rd on back. Peterson leading a lot of laps. John Kay just hit the wall at a turn 4. That's going to allow Chad Stearns to make a move here to the bottom.
That will be a common theme as the long green flag runs start to come. You get extremely tight if you get in the throttle too early coming out of turn 4.
Hello to Rob Williams, who's here too early as Poliski got his nose chopped off by Dan Miglin. Miglin has to make a save, but he tried to move up the track while Poliski was there. Ahead of them, they were nearly 3 wide with Gainey in the middle. Brantley will roll out of it. And Kay and Stearns will continue to battle side by side.
Poliski now looks back underneath of Miglin. Did not clear up the racetrack. They're side by side down the front stretch.
And I think Poliski now is pushing it a bit. Miglin was pushing it early. Made up a lot of spots in the first couple of laps before the first caution came out. But they'll battle side by side. Poliski will have help from his teammate. Maybe. Nope, Jeremy McKinnon going to leave him out and go with Dan Miglin.
I thought McKinnon may make it 3 wide there for a moment, but pulls up to the top. Now Josh Freed looking to get into the mix with these 3 as well.
And I keep thinking that's Paul Ellison because that's the scheme that he runs on Sundays in our Cup Series. Oh, we've got problems further back. Tyler Bergert is down into the grass. Rodney Matney also involved. Caution is back out.
Might be a little earlier than some of the drivers were hoping to take a set of tires, but they're going to have to put them on here.
I think that might be the case. We'll have to see.
We certainly will, and we'll have to see what happens here with the incident. Looks like Bergert got up into the wall, and then I think that's Josh Jackson that got into him as a result as well. Go ahead and back it up. We kind of talked about this just a lap or two ago, that as the tires start to wear, you start getting tight off of turn 4. Bergert trying to carry the speed. Gets up into the wall, and then Jackson is there. Gets into the back of him. Not really much Jackson could do there. You see Matney went down through the grass, but made just slight contact with Bergert there, but really nothing too terribly much. He did also make some pretty significant contact there with Jackson as well. But Matney was involved in the initial incident of the race as well. So I think most of his damage is from that incident on lap 2 or 3.
We've got people who don't realize that there are 2 different radio channels, and they keep talking over each other, trying to pin blame on everybody else for the accident. Race control has already deemed it to be a racing incident. So I don't know how in iRacing we don't realize at this point that we need to be on the same radio channel as everybody else.
I will say sometimes it defaults you to the one that you don't want to be in, and you just forget.
Yep.
Sometimes.
I'll stop. I'll come down off my soapbox here. Regardless, some drivers staying out. Peterson, Kay, Palumbo, Ellison, Vroman, Breeding, Holyfield, Miglin. No, Miglin is pit. So Miglin, Freed, Gunter, and Grav and Gainey, the first 5 off of pit road.
Well, I thought it might be a little bit earlier than some of the drivers wanted to come down pit road, and the fact that we had 7 stay out tells me that is the case.
All right, crew chief. For the drivers that have stayed out, what's the move?
Well, I think at this point, since they've stayed out, they're probably looking to just run this fuel out. I mean, we've had 2 cautions now, so they've run, they're going to be running close to 6 laps under caution probably. So that will likely give them at least probably 3 more laps of fuel, so they should be able to make it pretty darn close to lap 40 here. And they're just hoping to have a different tire strategy advantage later on in the race.
Well, okay, so if we help facilitate a deal between iRacing and Asset Technology Group, do we get a finder's fee for that? I'd love a cut of the contract. Not much. But, if we help set it up.
I mean, that would be a pretty big contract. I mean, we could take 5%, and I think we'd be all right.
Oh, yeah. I think it'd be set. All right, we'll see what we can make happen here. Help clean up the radios in iRacing with the help of ATG. Good looking out. Thanks for everybody with Asset Technology Group for hanging out with us here tonight. Always a good time. I appreciate the company. Hello to Lucas Ward. We already said hello to Rob Williams as well. Mr. 1048 NASCAR. I think cheering on Michael Dean here tonight as well. Dino is going to start. Where is Dino going to start? He's going to start in 20th here on this restart. So he's still got some work to do, but he was picking his way forward there before the caution came out. He's got fresh tires on, so do everybody from 7th on back. The top 3 rows on the old tires looking to play the long game here and make it to their original fuel number. Peterson and Kay, Palumbo and Ellison, 4 teammates at the front of the field, with Steve Roman and Eric Breeding behind. Green flag. Peterson, clear for the lead. Kay and Palumbo side by side. Ellison clear with his other teammate, Eric Breeding.
What we're really looking for is Dan Miglin to see how he is going to fare here. Him and Josh Reed, the top 2 on the fresh tires.
It might be a lap or 2 before he can get the wiggles out of these tires, but Hunter Engrav is going for it. He sends it up the middle 3 wide, and now he is the leader of those on fresh tires. Didn't take Engrav any time at all to get these tires up to tip. McKinnon had a run. He backed out of it. As Breeding, boy, right up there by the wall. 4 wide for a second. Gunter and McKinnon come together on the bottom line. Brody is going to make the save. He'll lose 2 spots, but he'll keep moving. McKinnon now bump drafting Engrav.
And Stearns is going to make it 3 wide behind them as well. Wow, that was a massive run. Look at how far out Freed and McKinnon got from Roman.
Here's Engrav going for the top spot on the bottom underneath Peterson, who's getting some help from John Kay, who said this isn't a super speedway race. We're bump drafted into turn 1. Engrav and McKinnon are clear.
Wow, look at that. That is tire advantage right there. And McKinnon doesn't stick with Engrav for long. He is looking to get to the top spot.
3 and 4 wide, just outside of the top 5. As McKinnon going for the lead into 3. Stewards are not noting anything here. This is Auto Club. But the stewards are noting the fact that Jeremy McKinnon just took the lead. Gunter, after the save, now is looking to take 3rd over. Peterson going to start to slide back. Remember, he, Kay, Ellison, Palumbo, Vroman, and Breeding, all on old tires. Everybody else has the fresh rubber.
And you can tell that some folks in the between 5th and 15th are on that older rubber, because when they get to the turns, they are fanned out big time. Lots of drivers right up by the wall. Other drivers on fresher tires able to hold the bottom. It is crazy back here.
An X to you as well, Biology Boggs. Thanks for joining the stream. 28 people watching right now. That is a season high, no doubt about it. And this is great racing right now at Auto Club. So many varying strategies. But I think we're all here for Michael Dean. And Michael Dean is about to crack the top 10. He's on the move forward.
Some of those drivers that did not come down pit road last time may be thinking harshly about that decision.
Certainly are. They're certainly going to be looking forward to the lap that they can bring it down pit road.
All of them now outside of the top 10.
Michael Dean up into the top 10 for the first time here tonight. He'll continue to try and move forward here. Field is a bit strung out ahead of him. McKinnon leading Engrav by half a second. Engrav with Brody Gunter closing, and I'm sure probably a little mad about the contact still with Jeremy McKinnon.
Well, when McKinnon feels like he's fast, there's no getting in his way. If you're in his
Certainly
way,
not.
He's going to go through you.
And it looked to me like it was just a convergence. They were both going for the bottom line. And the contact happened. Gunter, of course, a great driver, saves it. And now has made the pass on Engrav in his first race of the season to get back up to second. Gunter won this race last season. Has been doing the Charlotte Summer Shootout in his Legends car. But now that has subsided, so he's able to continue on with the Venom Truck Series.
quite a bit of single file now throughout the field. It's been double and triple and quadruple file a little bit for most of the start of this race. Now starting to thin out a little bit more.
And here goes Stearns now on in grab. Hunter with the big push early, but is starting to move backwards. Hunter won a recruitment race here for Truck 200 at Auto Club.
I have to wonder if maybe that's a little bit by design. He kind of got off to a hot start, but maybe looking to settle into a pace here to keep the tires underneath a little bit. Weren't able to go that full fuel run distance before the caution came out, and maybe didn't like where the tires were when he put new ones on.
Interstellar Sim Racing Ventures. Just a bump drive from teammate to teammate as Zach Lockett's in the top 10 here, trying to help Chad Stearns. Stearns is on the bottom of turn number 1, 3 wide. And he'll slide up in front of Brantley Gainey. Gainey going to try and cross him over.
Gainey
And Grab wants to get out of this.
Yeah, Gainey with nobody to help, but still has a good run here. And look at that. Engrav down to the bottom. Poliski able to clear Stearns and Gainey as well.
Stearns will get help again from Lockett. Lockett's still running the Shane Winslow throwback scheme from last week. Top 2 have checked out from this. Engrav still holding on to this 3rd spot again. 6 drivers stayed out under the last caution. Currently in 18th place, Luke Peterson. He's the highest running of the 6. They should be a couple laps, probably 5 to 6 laps away from making their pit stop under green if indeed they get the opportunity. Jeremy McKinnon steadily pulling away from Brody Gunter at the front of the field. McKinnon's won on big tracks like this before. Pocono jumps to mind. Of course, he's always a super speedway threat and ran very well at Michigan a few weeks ago. So not a surprise to see McKinnon at the front of the field.
Yeah, he's always run well at Michigan. He's just let some mistakes get in his way. I think our first soiree at Michigan with the Venom Truck Series, I think McKinnon had a couple of pit road penalties that took him out of it.
That's a sharp mind there. I forgot all about that. He had 2 speeding penalties running inside the top 5 in that race.
And tires really starting to be a factor for those that did not take them. Everybody that did not take tires is in 18th or below. Peterson, Ellison, John Kay, Vroman, Palumbo, they are all 18th or lower in the running right now.
Michael Dean running a 1/3 of a second behind his teammate Jan Van Leer, who brought the hot hand onto the floor tonight. Jan, of course, has won the last 2 races in a row. Said last week was special for a number of reasons, but one of those reasons was that the whole squad was actually there for a change. The other 2 races that he won, the whole team had not been present for it, but they all were here, all of ICR, and they all got to celebrate with Jan. But the only challenger behind Michael Dean right now is Matt Schlosser in 11th. Everybody else is pretty far back from Josh Jackson on backwards. Jan in front of him, going to make a pass attempt here on Garrett Rainey to try and take 8th.
And Hunter Engrav went underneath of Brody Gunter there as well. So Engrav Engrav starting to put the pressure back on. I think was in a little bit of a tire save mode there for a while.
So they're now 9/10 of a second behind Jeremy McKinnon, but the pass for second has been made. And Engrav is back up to P2. Jan Van Leer and Garrett Rainey continue to battle side by side. Chad Stearns and Danny Poliski are side by side. Zach Lockett and Brantley Gainey are side by side now. And Eric Breeding, one of those 6 drivers that stayed out, has just made his pit stop. So it is about time.
I think they can make it a couple more laps on fuel, but Breeding may have had enough with those tires.
Certainly, he was the last running out of those 6. We're calling for engine mode, what do they call it? Party time? Party mode? I forget, but the mythical, legendary Mercedes engine mode has been summoned on the 73. He gives a bump drive to his teammates. And that seems to shoot Jan half a truck length ahead, but can't quite make it stick.
We're going to start getting to the point in this run where they're going to start getting tight off the corners again, so have to be mindful of how hard you're pushing through the middle of the corner and then getting onto the throttle coming off.
Here comes John Kay, and oh boy, he was certainly speeding. And yes, he got a black flag. So that is a disastrous stop for John Kay. It's been a rough few weeks for him. 3 consecutive finishes outside of the top 10 for your points leader. And pile it on here. But this is the longest race of the season. He's got time to make it up. Oh, but he just drove through his pit box as well. So that's not going to help. Actually drove past it.
He might be seeing red right now. I don't know.
I
He's
think
paying
so.
Much attention to his pit box.
I'm sure he is going to be furious. Paul Ellison, Luke Peterson, Hayden Palumbo, all down pit road.
And they all seem to get down safely.
Yes, they did. Everybody else pit on lap 22, so that gets him to almost lap 60. Is that right?
Yeah, they should be making it somewhat close to lap 60. Between 55 and 60 is what we're probably looking at for the round of pit stops for the drivers that came down on that second caution. Group of drivers fighting for top 5 positions here. Poliski has migrated all the way to that top lane already. He has Zach Lockett behind him. Chad Stearns running more the second and third lanes there through the corners of 1 and 2. And Brantley Gainey right here with them as well. And then Garrett Graney, Jan Van Leer, and Michael Dean battle behind them along with Matt Schlosser.
Brantley Gainey's had an interesting season. As he's missed a couple of races, had a second place run in Rockingham, a very convincing one there. But he's just kind of floated around the back half of the top 10, top 15 all season after that. So good run for the 22 here tonight. As Michael Dean gets tired of pushing Jan Van Leer, takes him 3 wide and nearly pulls it off, but now the topside momentum is going to drag the other 2 along. So Dean nearly got a 2-for-1 there, but instead was now going to get attempted a pass on by Matt Schlosser.
And Schlosser might be able to use Dino to his advantage here as well. But all of them in line right now. There goes Dean to the bottom again.
Steve Roman, I think the last holdout of those drivers that didn't come down pit road under the caution. And meanwhile, up front, Hunter Engrav has gotten in the slipstream of the race leader, and he is pulled right up to the tailgate.
We've seen a lot of drivers throughout the field migrate to the very top lane or just maybe a lane down from it. And you see Engrav running right there at the top. Should give him good drive off here. And you see he's going to pull down and look underneath him. McKinnon for the lead.
We'll try the slider here. He's well clear. Dan Meglin from 19th. He says he is going to make an early stop. McKinnon will close back up here for the race lead, but Engrav leads it across the stripe. Now Jeremy bump drafted.
Further back, Dino still trying to make a pass here. Should be able to slide up in front of Rainey.
Indeed, that will be a pass for ninth. Garrett will have a big run. Where will he take it? He'll take it right to the back bumper.
I mean, those three should be able to work together here to hopefully get up and catch Andy and company.
Sounds like some other drivers are going to make early stops here as well. Rodney Matney is coming down pit road. He was in 14th.
Interesting early stops here for these drivers. They have 4 sets of tires available. This means they're going to use 2 well before we get to the halfway point. Might be regretting that decision later on here in this race.
Can't imagine anybody would have not taken a set of tires by this point. Especially for Matty, who was running inside the top 15. He certainly would have taken tires on the lap 21 caution. So JVL and Dean have gotten some separation from their pursuers. So Michael Dean in 9th, Jan Van Leer in 8th. Brantley Gainey still trying to work over Chad Stearns here, but may have his hands full with Zach Lockett before too much longer. Jeremy McKinnon has fallen a quarter of a second behind Hunter Engraf for the lead, and Brody Gunter is just kind of chilling about half a second behind the top 2.
And as the tires continue to wear more and more, you see the drivers start spreading out here. Even Jan and Michael have started to gap Rainey and Schlosser here a little bit. The 4 of them had been together for a long time.
Well, Maxwell, who picked up damage in the lap 2 crash, says he's coming down pit road this time.
McKinnon continuing to slide back just a bit here. Gunter closing in, and Gunter's bringing quite a bit of company here with him as well. Stearns, Gainey, and Lockett really are not that far behind.
Yeah, McKinnon is slid back. He was about 4/10 quicker, or 4/10 slower than the race leader last time around. But matched his lap time this time. Gunter's still going to be sizing up a run here on McKinnon to try and get to second. If he doesn't, Chad Stearns might take them both. Not heard any team radio from any of the principals yet on what plan some of these drivers are on. Seems like Miglin and Rodney and a couple of other drivers that have come down pit road here are swinging for the fences in terms of some strategy, because that is a peculiar point around lap 45 to come in here for drivers that had just pit 20 laps before that.
Yeah, it just sets you, I mean, to me it sets you up to have a really tough back half of this race. I mean, you're going to have to go an extra 10 laps from halfway on 2 sets of tires. You use 2 sets and 45 laps, and then you're going to have to go much farther on another 2 sets. It's just, yeah, it's interesting.
Here we go for third, or rather for second. That is Gunter slipping ahead of McKinnon. Jeremy with the crossover, maybe. Oh, as Zach Lockett pounds the wall behind him. Now Chad Stearns going to take his run and go to the bottom. Tyler Logan has come down pit road. He was running in 16th.
This group is packed up big time all of a sudden.
And there is Luke Peterson in the mix here, again on fresher tires. He is going to fly through these drivers and try and get himself back onto the lead lap. Josh Jackson says he's pitting this time from 12th.
Here comes Brantley.
Brantley Gainey coming in. Early pit stops trickling in.
That's from the top 5.
Certainly. That is going to tip the scales here, I would imagine. Peterson on the bottom of 3 wide with the fresher tires. It's going to affect Stern's corner a bit as he pushes up the track. Peterson slides up and clears himself.
Yeah, may give some help to Stearns here, though, down the backstretch.
Mutually beneficial. As Peterson will blow through there. Ronnie Matney on fresher tires than even Peterson is coming up like a house on fire. And Matney needs a good run here tonight. Won the season opener at Daytona. Has only had one other top 10 finish this whole season. And he just slipped out of the top 10 in the points after North Wilkesboro last week. So he is no longer in the chase as they run right now. So Matney needs a good run tonight. Michael Dean on Jan Van Leer from the outside.
Yep, that outside works well here on the older tires, fighting with his teammate, and he will take what is the 6th position at the moment.
Thought I just lagged out of the session there for a second.
Well, you did. You did hiccup on the mic there for a moment too with your internet, but
perfect.
You're here.
Great, happy to be here. Hello to everybody watching. We got a big group here tonight. That's awesome. Thank you all very much. 3 wide with some drivers on fresher tires coming through. Stearns now to second, and Grav leading. Gunter and McKinnon perpetually battling here for any position.
And there goes Peterson to unlap himself.
And grab a 1.5 clear on Stearns. As here's Palumbo and Gainey and Ellison all on fresh tires. Wow.
And they're pulling up on Gunter and McKinnon quickly here.
Certainly. Starting to queue up.
I would imagine pit stops for a lot of these drivers that came down on lap 21 and 22 are going to be coming in the next 2 or 3 laps. Speaking of, here comes Dino and Jan Van Leer. Van Leer! Wow, nearly puts himself into the wall, came across the nose of Dean.
That was sketchy, to say the least, but they both made it in with no penalties and no damage. Maybe some damaged underwear.
Paul Sargent in behind them as well. So is Josh Freed coming down pit road. They haven't had to make that pit stop on 30 lap plus old tires, and it is much different than coming in. If you're doing, pit stop practice with maybe 10 lap old tires.
Here come Andy Poliski and Garrett Rainey. Oh, sticker, Mr. Queen, don't even say it.
We've had our fill for the entire season the last 2 weeks.
51 cautions the last 2 weeks. Only 2 tonight so far. Everybody, knock on wood, for the love of God, that it stays that way, or at least low. Because it's been a great race up to this point. Pit strategy going to continue to play out here.
Still all of the top 10 needing to come down pit road here. Kenneth Graves going to come down this time.
Good to see Kenneth Graves still hanging around the top 10. Gary Clark from the top 10 is coming down pit road as well. We've only seen the 1 penalty so far from John Kay. John Kay still way down in the running order. Not only with the penalty, but also slid through his box and had to get resituated. Gary Clark just did the same. And Grav with a 2.5 lead right now over Chad Stearns.
The drivers that have been down pit road already. Matney is the first, now in 10th. Brantley Gainey behind him. And then it's Peterson who came down pretty early on lap 39. Peterson already on 20-lap old tires here at this point, and some of those drivers just now getting their pit stops in for their, well, what will be their second stop.
Oh! Brody Gunter is slow, and he has a meatball flag. What has happened to Brody Gunter?
Looks like it's the right side. May have pounded the wall.
He made contact with Michael Dean. Brody was coming up the track as Dino was riding the wall. It sends the 01 into the wall and presumably going to be at least out of contention, if not out of the race entirely. McKinnon and Lockett down pit road now. Berger and Holyfield now in as well.
See if we can.
And Dean was on fresher tires. Remember, he had just come down pit road.
We'll see if we can take a look, find the replay here. Everybody is shuffling down their running order right now, and it's becoming extremely difficult.
Yep, Engrav and Stearns from first and second are down pit road. Matt Schlosser now the leader.
There's
I'm
Dino.
not sure how much he'll damage-wise he'll actually come away with here.
Dino looking to get to the outside of Gunter here, and Gunter on older tires running up the race. Oh, that looks like massive net code. Maybe not. There is some contact there, but Dean on the fresh tires looking to get around Brody. Brody on older tires just trying to hold that line. It's just so difficult.
I think there was some net code there.
It's really hard to tell when two people get locked together by net code. It's really difficult to tell if that was the case or not, but definitely had the potential to happen right there.
So Schlosser is now the leader. He is coming down pit road. Corey Rutherford now in second. He is heading down pit road as well. So this should cycle everybody out, and it is Brantley Gainey at the front right now. Rodney Matney, Jan Van Leer, Luke Peterson, Tyler Logan will be the top five.
Show many of our car and side cameras yet tonight because a lot of those drivers were in the back of the pack after not taking tires after the second pit stop. But let's take a look at a couple of them here. There's Paul Ellison. Well, it's supposed to be Paul Ellison.
I'm just happy that we have overlays tonight.
Certainly I am as well. Maybe the cameras aren't cooperating here tonight. Let's see if we can rack up somebody else. Maybe it's Paul Ellison's feed. Nope, looks like it's us.
I don't know what's been going on with SDK the last couple of days, but they gave us new problems we've never had before last night, and it seemingly is happening again. But these are less detrimental than what they were last night, that's for sure.
Certainly. Well, let's get back to some of the action towards the front. There's Peterson, who we mentioned is on older tires at this point. That is Poliski underneath. Tyler Logan going to be coming up to take a position as well. That would put Peterson back to 7th. Peterson is probably not all that far away from maybe coming down for another pit stop.
He was down on lap 39, so yeah, we're not too far away here. Just another probably 5 or 6 laps. Michael Dean will get through on Peterson. Looking at the right side of Dean's truck, it looks okay.
And I think Gunter certainly got the worst of the damage.
Oh, there's no doubt. So he is still sitting on pit road. Matt Schlosser with the purple lap. But he was one of the last drivers down pit road, so he is pretty far in the running order.
This is the epitome of a sponsor getting their money's worth here tonight.
Absolutely. Like I said, we can mediate a deal with our connection.
ATG, Michael Dean, who is on only 5 lap fresher tires than Tyler Logan, he is able to blast by Peterson and Logan in the same corner and gap them quite heavily in the next half a lap. So that's what 5 lap fresher tires is going to get you.
Yep, so that gets him 6th place as well. He's got about a second and a quarter to track down Poliski to move himself into the top 5. Remember, Dean qualified 18th, but had top 3 pace in practice, so this should not be a surprise to anybody. And Dean was rocking and rolling at the end of last season as well, and clicked off quite a few good oval finishes. So Dino doing a good job here tonight as Engrav and Poliski, 4th and 5th, they are tightening up, and they are getting underneath Rodney Matney.
Matney was one of those early drivers down pit road as well on lap 45, so now over 20 laps on the tires of the 83. And you see Poliski and Engrav get by quite easily. But overall, I'd say so far, a net gain here for Matney.
Definitely is a net gain.
As long as he's able to keep this similar pace up, I think it should be a pretty good call in the long run here.
Yeah, I was certainly worried when he was only the 2nd or 3rd driver to come down pit road, and still pretty early, but his pace has stayed up here in the cleaner air. So, yeah, Matney still in the top 5. It's a net gain, and he was just inside of the top 15 when he elected to come down pit road. We know Matney can run well here. He has a runner-up finish at Michigan. This is essentially just bumpier Michigan.
It's definitely bumpier over in California. the real life version.
Yes. Right now, yeah. Jeremy McKinnon has just gotten past Garrett Rainey and will take 7th.
Full battles throughout the field here. Zach Blockett, Matt Schlosser pretty close together. Behind them, Jordan Journeau, Josh Jackson. They are basically side by side.
To see both of those drivers inside the top 15. Matt Schlosser, the fastest driver on the track right now, has just made a pass to get up to 11th as Vroman just lost 4 spots there. 3 spots, rather.
Well, even though the cameras aren't working on our end, still have to give some love to car inside, our good friend Nathan Reynolds. See that he's been posting more videos than he has been recently. Got quite a bit out there to help you learn, especially if you're into the trucks and the C-Fix. He's got lots of tutorials and lots of help there for you.
Pass for 5th. Michael Dean is moving forward. That's the good news. The bad news is that Jeremy McKinnon is much faster than Dean right now, and he will certainly be overtaken for that position here.
Well, we just spoke about the 5-lap tire advantage. That's what McKinnon has over Dean, and that is that coming into play right there.
So Dean breezes past Matney, and McKinnon will scoot on by both of them. As Jan Van Leer has caught Hunter and Grav now for 2nd. And both of them reeling in the race leader. They still got a ways to go.
Seems to me Engrav may have cut the pace a little bit here. Only has 12 laps on those tires, but I think is maybe backing off the pace just a touch to save some of that rubber for the long run. He did that well there in the last run of green flag.
And I think I got that backwards. I think that was Engrav passing Jan Van Leer for 2nd. As Hunter, like you said, was off of pit road more recently than Jan Van Leer. So JVL will slot back into third, and he's got Andy Poliski coming up on him. But Engrav, no doubt about it, is catching Brantley Gainey at a pretty good clip.
Good little battle outside the top 20 here. We got Austin Holyfield, Josh Freed, and Corey Rutherford all here together. And you see Gunter coming off of pit road there behind them, but he is a good 10-plus laps down here at this point.
Yeah, Gunter 12 down in 29th. And the next closest driver to him is John Kay, 1 lap down. Only 3 drivers that are 1 lap down right now. Right now it would be Tyler Bergert, who just got passed. But we get the lucky dog if the caution were to come out.
And my apologies, that is not Corey Rutherford. That is actually Pascal Samard, but Pascal is also a good number of laps down as well.
Poliski catching Jan Van Leer. That'll be a battle for third here momentarily. Matt Schlosser is getting past Rodney Matney for the 8th position. And here come pit stops for some of our early birds. Last time around, Eric Breeding was the first driver on pit road. He is back down here on lap 74.
Engrav now right to the bumper of Gainey. Looks to the top. Gainey looking to cover off. Now
it's all but inevitable.
All the way down the racetrack, but decides against it as Engrav was going to get right down to the left rear. Yeah. And just had so much more speed on the fresher tires. There was no keeping Engrav behind.
Certainly not. Hunter Engrav back to the point. Gainey now in dirty air. He's got a 2.5 back of his teammate, Jan Van Leer. And the third ICR driver, Michael Dean, still running in 6th, pretty comfortably at this point. Has gaps ahead of him and behind him for position. Although Matt Schlosser is closing pretty quick on the 73 truck.
Schlosser was one of the last folks to come down pit road. In fact, I think may have been the last one of the drivers that had come down on lap 21, and that was their next pit stop. They came down on lap 61, so ran a full 40 laps there on that run of tires.
John Kay back down pit road, much cleaner this time. Andy Poliski is in from 4th. Early stop for the 32.
Love the swing.
Go for it. Steve Roman back down, but that is more in line with where Steve pit. We're expecting to see Ellison and Peterson in, as well as Palumbo shortly.
Surprised that Paul Ellison has not been down pit road yet. Came down on lap 39. That was his first pit stop, so even after this, he's going to have 2 tires left in the bank.
Garrett Rainey coming down. Luke Peterson now, as expected, heading down pit road as well. And Palumbo will join them. So it'll just be Ellison on those 6 drivers that are really off sequence. Oh, there we go. Speeding too fast on entry for Hayden Palumbo. So that's the second Alabama gang super kick driver to fall victim to the first timing sector on pit road tonight.
Here comes Schlosser looking to put Michael Dean back to 6th. Both of them moved up a position after Poliski came down.
Rodney Matney will pit from 8th, and like you said, that is a net gain. So this might work out, depending on how he times this last run. Again, this is the endurance race here tonight, the Eyesight Technology Group 220 at Auto Club Speedway. Only 2 cautions thus far.
You know what the crazy thing is? If Matney is able to go in a good fuel safe mode here, he could make it potentially all the way to the end.
Wow.
Actually, doesn't even have to be in fuel safe mode. That's only 30 laps. I take it back. I was thinking 40 in my head. He is definitely good to go.
He's good. Yeah, he is good to go. So Poliski and Matney triggering the undercut here.
Schlosser has not been able to get around Dean just yet, even with a pretty significant tire advantage here.
Josh Freed, Paul Sargent down pit road. Jan Van Leer closing in on Brantley Gainey for second. And all the way down to the apron, Dino and Schlosser slugging it out.
Schlosser now going to get to the outside, looking for that big run off of the corner, and should be able to get it. Dean not able to slide up in front. Oh, man, Schlosser really close to that wall. But that's what you got to do to get that big run.
Corey Rutherford down pit road. Yeah, Schlosser and Jeremy McKinnon were the only 2 drivers in the 41-second bracket when the pit cycle started here. Dean sent it there into turn number 3, but Schlosser will roll the outside and hang on to the spot.
Jan Van Leer closing in on teammate Brantley Gainey.
Here comes Chad Stearns from 9th.
Strategy has been all over the joint tonight.
That's why we love the long runs. We love these longer races. Missed that the last couple of weeks, that's for sure. Great racing here tonight at Auto Club. A great rebound for the league.
Here come 2 more drivers. Josh Jackson. And it's Cole Maxwell that you just saw in frame as well.
Didn't get a notification that Josh Jackson pit, but he is undeniably in his pit stall right now.
Jan Van Leer was trying to get to the outside of Gainey. Gainey covers it up and then dives way to the bottom there in turn 1.
There is a chance that Jan is battling for the points lead tonight with another poor night from John Kay.
Well, Jan certainly has the momentum on his side, and John certainly does not. Here comes the 22.
Gainey down pit road.
On fresh tires, looking to get around Steve Vroman, although Vroman basically on the same strategy, as is Garrett Rainey and Luke Peterson. All 4 of those drivers pretty close together here.
Jan Van Leer coming down pit road this time. Jordan Jorneau is in. Andy Poliski, the leader of those that have come down pit road to this point.
And there comes the 73 of Michael Dean as well. Still quite a few drivers that have not come down since between laps 57 and 60. Your leader, Engrav, being one of them, McKinnon, Schlosser, Lockett, Logan, Graves, and Holyfield.
Engrav with a huge lead. Almost 7 seconds right now. As McKinnon from second is going to come down pit road. And McKinnon will make it down to pit road speed. Loving it. So now Matt Schlosser will move into second. And Hunter Engrav is going to the bottom of the track. Will we see the race leader come down this time? No, we will not.
Here comes Brantley Gainey, much fresher tires than Matney and Vroman in front of him. Didn't have a good opportunity here the next 2 or 3 laps to get past those two.
Schlosser, Lockett, and Logan all down pit road from second, third, and fourth. So they are trying to trigger the undercut here from way downtown on Engrav.
The nice thing about this run for those three is they can just go all out. No reason to try and save any tire. They can push as hard as they want to for the remaining 23 laps.
Hunter Engrav is coming down this time. The 28 of Engrav. Aggressive on entry. Will make it down to 55 miles an hour. So still waiting on pit stops from Kenneth Graves and Austin Holyfield, I do believe.
And Dan Miglin as well.
And Dan Miglin, who was well off sequence. Gary Clark is coming in this time as well. So once those two pit, it'll turn over the lead to Andy Poliski. I think Poliski is about 8 seconds clear on Garrett Rainey for now, but we'll see where Engrav cycles out in comparison. Poliski goes by the 28.
Remember, Poliski was basically the first one down pit road for this cycle.
And Engrav has still not been passed by Garrett Rainey, so Hunter may come out second outright, and he will.
Engrav with a 11-lap advantage on tires over Poliski, and Poliski is only 7.5 seconds in front.
Got to put in the work, but that does seem quite doable, if not probable.
Currently a battle for the lead on the racetrack, though. Holyfield and Kenneth Graves duking it out for the top spot.
Pony Express at the front, having a good old time. And I think if I were to cast my vote right now for the most improved driver of the season, it would probably go to Austin Holyfield. He has put in the work this season and has done quite well. It's good to see him lead, and Kenneth Graves will give up second and come down pit road.
Matt Schlosser ran the purple lap of the race the last time around and is on the move. Just got past Bergert and Stearns, and now looking to the 73 of Michael Dean.
And only 2/10 slower than him with a personal best lap was Hunter Engrav. Already cut that gap to 6 seconds.
Dino will let Schlosser through there on the bottom. And then the two of them will work together here down the backstretch. Two drivers
Austin
not
Holyfield.
working.
Go ahead.
Two drivers not working together here. Garrett Rainey and Luke Peterson. They're battling for what is going to be a top 5.
Those are teammates, don't you know?
You know, that team really doesn't care. They will battle each other like crazy.
If it's not a super speedway, yeah, it's on. No team orders. But McKinnon is flown up on both of them, and he is just going to blow right by.
A few drivers in jeopardy on older tires here, Poliski being one of them, Rainey being one of them as well as Peterson, Roman, Matney. All of those drivers are on about 10-lap older tires than a lot of the drivers lined up behind them.
This gap is coming down in a hurry. 2.5 seconds for Poliski and Engrav. Kenneth Graves well off the pace on fresh tires. I'm wondering if he hit the wall.
Look at that. Schlosser on the fresher tires rockets around both Matney and Vroman on the top side.
A second and a half now. Engrav is approaching rapidly. Almost 2 seconds quicker last time around.
Let's go on board. Look at the run being set up for the race lead.
The white truck in front is Cole Maxwell. The Poliski a truck length ahead of him.
Poliski having to run that top side on older tires. Engrav able to rail the bottom.
Here goes Engrav. Should be no contest. Hunter Engrav is back to the lead. After a rough couple of weeks, Hunter Engrav is on his way here to another victory. I believe it would be the 4th of the season and 4th of his career if we don't have a caution. Big if.
Well, not much time left to do it here in the endurance race. 110 laps tonight, only 14 to go. Coming up on 13 next time around for Engrav.
Peterson and Rainey still battling side by side, and Michael Dean is flying up on both of them. Dean with fresher rubber than both of the drivers in front. See what he has going here. This would be for 7th.
Wow, look at that aggressive move to the bottom from the 73.
He gets one.
Whoa, gotta be careful.
Peterson down to defend, but he'll get the second. Nice job, Dino.
Battle here inside the top 5 between Jeremy McKinnon and Brantley Gainey. McKinnon has had great pace here tonight, looking to set up this pass on the 22. Now, there's a nickname.
Certainly. If I've ever seen one. McKinnon trying to make it work. Looking for another podium here and be his 3rd of the season. If he's able to run up to Jan Van Leer or indeed Andy Poliski. It's Poliski, the 2nd slowest driver in the top 10 right now.
And tied tied for the oldest tires in the top 10.
It certainly makes sense. Not the distinction you want to have.
Well, that was the big swing Poliski felt like he needed to make, and I mean, he's done well with what he's got. This might not be quite enough.
John Kay back in 27th, still pinned a lap down. Not in position for the lucky dog. That would go to Dan Miglin if indeed we're going to have a late caution here.
And with this many drivers starting this race, John Kay is going to lose a lot of points here tonight.
Yeah, quite a few. I would imagine Jan on for a top 5, if not a podium. John back in 27th. I think Jan's going to be your points leader after tonight, if things hold the way they are going right now. Certainly not a whole lot of opportunities here, even with green, white checkers, for John Kay to get back on the lead lap.
Rodney Matney and Steve Roman have been battling for basically this entire run. They're going after it again. Vroman passed Matney this time.
We have retired Nicholas Latifi. His services are no longer required. Sounds like Flinky has missed what happened to Brody Gunter. He made contact with Michael Dean while Dean was flying up on fresher tires. And the contact put him up into the wall and gave him a meatball flag, so he is over 10 laps down at this point. And not sure if John's okay. We'll have to ask him after the race. I'll tell you who is feeling okay at this point, I would imagine, is Hunter Engrav, a 6-second lead in the closing laps. Poliski about to be under threat from Jan Van Leer, and Van Leer right now is under threat from Jeremy McKinnon.
Certainly is. The question is, does the 12 have enough tire left? We know that he can burn him fast when he needs to. Has he burnt him too quick? Does he have a little left in the tank?
I'm sure Andy will be hoping for this battle to take a while, because Jan is catching him pretty quick. Tyler Bergert has come back down pit road, and he has picked up a black flag for speeding.
Poliski's there in the black and red truck, not far in front of Jan Van Leer here at this point.
Definitely not.
Now Poliski goes to the bottom to throw some dirty air in the way of the 5.
But now we'll give him a tow down the front stretch here, and Jan is using it. He'll have a bit of a run. Poliski will make him take it to the top side, and that may be good enough here for JVL to sneak into second. Poliski holds the bottom, and Jan will have the run. Four and a half laps to go. Steve Roman just made a pass on Garrett Rainey, and I think Rainey got up into the wall. He's just lost 2 spots. Rodney Matney moves through as well. eyes. Oh, Politsky, wow! On McKinnon, all sorts of sideways. Has to go all the way down to the apron to collect that truck. McKinnon now onto the podium, and Politsky back to fourth. Ooh. No, that was almost the caution. 3 to go for Engrav. He's across the stripe.
Unfortunately for Politsky, Brantley Gainey is now right in the rearview mirror as well.
But the bleeding should stop there. Matt Schlosser is 2.5 seconds behind. Dino firmly in seventh in the final couple of laps here.
I think you mean Michael Dienmacher.
I'll leave that one to you. Here goes Gainey. And Politsky gonna fight back here. Trying out the material on us. It'll be Jan now trying to fend off Jeremy McKinnon for second. Engrav has half a lap to make this race official. Engrav heading into turn number 4 right now. Into the tri-oval. Just needs to cross the line to take the white flag. And he will. 1 lap to go. Andy Politsky pitting. He doesn't have enough fuel. Oh my goodness.
Wow, that is surprising. I thought he came down in like lap 77. We saw a couple drivers go 40 laps. I guess that was with the caution in the mix as well, so fuel maybe a little bit lower than we thought.
Hunter Engrav is back officially. 4th win of the season for Engrav. He takes the Asset Technology Group 220 at Auto Club. Jan Van Leer will fend off Jeremy McKinnon. Jan is on fire, and Jan Van Leer might be your new points leader. Jeremy McKinnon will round out the podium, his 3rd podium of the season. Brantley Gainey will finish in 4th. Matt Schlosser in 5th. Whoa!
Froman and Matney door banging across the line. They could not get away from each other this entire run.
And the hero of the night, Michael Dean, will finish in 6th.
And unfortunately, Dean has already gone down to his pit box. Oh, there he is. He just blinked there for a second.
Boy, disappointing night for John Kay, 27th. But Engrav doing the burnouts here for the 4th time this season, 4th time of his career. What a rookie run it's been for Engrav, save for the last 2 weeks. Sounds like a couple other drivers ran out of gas on the cooldown lap as well. So people were cutting it close there. But Engrav isn't one of them. He continues his burnouts here in victory lane. I don't think the grounds crew appreciate that. That's all right. Well, I guess that part is still there, so it does matter.
Grounds crew.
Okay. Well, on that sad note, we'll throw it to the full finishing rundown here. Engrav with a dominant 9-second victory over Jan Van Leer and Jeremy McKinnon. We'll hopefully talk to all 3 of your podium finishers. Jeremy's yet to make an appearance in the booth this season, so we'll see. But Brantley Gainey will finish in 4th. Matt Schlosser in 5th. Michael Dean will bring it home in 6th here tonight. Zach Lockett will go plus 13. Oh, yeah, by the way, plus 25 for Jan Van Leer. He's the hard charger tonight. But a good run for Zach Lockett, his best finish of the season, now in 7th. Luke Peterson will finish in 8th. Steve Broman and Rodney Matney Dorbagan all the way to the end. They will finish in 9th and 10th. Tyler Logan in 11th. Garrett Rainey in 12th. Chad Stearns will finish in 13th. Jordan Jorno in P14. Josh Jackson will finish in 15th. Paul Ellison in 16th. Austin Holyfield, Corey Rutherford, Josh Fried, and Andy Poliski going to be the first driver, 1 lap down in 20th. Eric Breeding, 21st. Paul Sargent, 22nd. Dan Migland in 23rd. Gary Clark, 24th. Kenneth Graves, 25th. Aiden Palumbo, John Kay, 26th and 27th. Then it is Tyler Berger to DNF in 28th. Brody Gunter is still running in 29th. Cole Maxwell will finish in 30th. Pascal Samard will finish in 31st. And DNFs for Rob Williams and Ryan Dye. Boy, the season from hell for Ryan Dye continues here tonight with the 33rd and final finishing place. We will get to your podium finishers here. It is once again a message from Jeremy McKinnon. He's asking what questions you want to ask. So I guess we'll go down the board here. But Jan is not in here yet. So I guess Matt Williamson, what do you want to say?
What do I want to say? What do I want to ask Jeremy, or just what do I want to say?
No, what do you want to say about this race in general?
Well, I got to say, this was a far cry from the last couple of weeks. But even aside from the last couple of weeks, this may be the best race or one of the best races of the entire season so far. I mean, this was just spectacular stuff from all of the drivers here tonight. Lots of different strategies, which we love here on Turn 200. I know it was fun for the viewers to watch as well. And I got to shout out all of the viewers we have that I'm pretty sure were by proxy of Michael Dean cheering on the 73. Lots of the folks were tonight. So thank you to everybody that was watching here. Very, very much appreciated, and hope that you enjoyed the show because the drivers put one on for you.
Alrighty, so just send a message back to Jeremy McKinnon. In the meantime, go ahead and hot swap your runner-up here tonight, Jan Van Leer. Welcome back to Booth 200. It is becoming more and more regular. Not the win here tonight, but a pretty good darn run, that's for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, about as close as you can get, huh?
Absolutely. Spirited battle there. Really spirited battling all through the night for you as you slowly picked your way up through the field. Big time move through the pack tonight. And Auto Club is good for that sort of thing if you've got the drive forward. And you certainly seem to have that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody had anything for Hunter there at the end. I was actually shocked to see him come out of the pits in front of me. I knew he was going to have to do another pit stop, and then I don't know if he took 2 tires or what, but whatever he did was a brilliant move, and yeah, you just can't beat when you got strategy and speed like that. So yeah, just really stoked. Good battle. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have a lot of practice here today. Had a bad qualifying and just kind of figured I would take the race as it comes. You know, I had a couple good finishes recently, a couple wins, and thought, I'll just take whatever comes today.
Matt, what do you got?
Well, you took what came, and they were all good things for you here tonight, keeping the hot streak going. The momentum is certainly on your side. But you mentioned it, the bad quality effort. You had to come deep through this field. I mean, how do you attack, especially the endurance race? I guess the good thing is coming in, you know that you had plenty of time to get things done with it being the endurance race. But it had to be very stressful, trying to work your way through the field early on here.
Yeah, it was hectic. I'd say that's probably the more accurate word. Especially once the pit stops started coming in and getting back out on fresher tires. I think that's really what did it, because I don't think I made too many positions up just running on that first run. I think I probably made like maybe 5 or 6. I think and I was talking to the team about this, I think the trick at a track like this is just really have to be decisive. Similar a little bit to multi-class racing. When you commit to a move, you just have to stay in it. And if someone else starts squeezing you or trying to block you, just got to stay cool and maybe redirect your truck if you can. There was a couple times there I was coming up real fast on a big gaggle of trucks and had to make some kind of last minute moves to not lose momentum. That's really the name of the game here at Auto Club, is to not lose momentum. As soon as you lose momentum, it takes you forever to get it back. So that was the most important thing. I think that first run, I think I mentioned something like, "Oh, thank God the announcers actually have something fun to announce," because we were like, what, 4 wide for like 3 laps or something. That was insane. I think I made most of my positions up during that time, just really picking my way through. I had Dean right behind me, and we just kind of slipped right through there. And I think that's kind of what made it happen.
Well, speaking of momentum, we're heading into the All-Star race next week, so no points racing at Slinger. But you beat John Kay by 25 positions here tonight as he got a speeding penalty. That I would imagine with bonus points for you staying out and leading a couple laps, I would imagine you are the points leader entering the All-Star race. First of all, did you think that was on the table heading into the first ever chase season? And second of all, how do we feel about the run here for the final, what'll be, I guess, the final 5 races of the regular season?
Well, no, actually, I absolutely didn't think that was possible. I kind of have to pinch myself every time I look at the standings, make sure I'm not dreaming. But yeah, just I think it's a testament to just keeping at it, working hard. The truck, again, I can't say enough about how the truck has changed for the better for me. We really have to drive it. It's more of a driver's car now, and that suits me fine. Um, Feeling good, man. Yeah, just hopefully not peaking too early, but uh, I don't really think that I wasn't trying to drive too hard today. I just kind of let the race come to me, and it more or less did. So, just gonna continue to try to do the same thing and just try to be calm and collected, and just let the race come to me when possible, and try to minimize any sorts of variables and obstacles in the way when it doesn't. So I think that's also been the other key this season, has been when I've had a bad run, still managed to get it back together and put up a decent points finish. So I think that's going to be the key moving forward. I'm not going to try to get ahead of myself or put the what is it? Put the truck before the engine. Is that what you would say here?
I guess
But
technically, yeah.
yeah, just going to try to roll with it and have fun.
Shout outs for you as usual.
Yeah, it's the usual. Chloe, my dog, Chaka, everyone, all my friends, my family, whenever they watch, it's awesome. My mom and my nephews, Leo and Ollie, they watch sometimes, so that's great. I might actually send them this one because it was actually a fun race to watch. You guys for being brilliant commentators, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'm kind of out of ideas here. Didn't expect to be up here today, to be honest.
Well, go celebrate another one. We'll hopefully talk to you again after some more short track madness at Slinger next week.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Night.
And I've been passed along a statement from the office of Jeremy McKinnon in London, Ontario, Canada. Something about Auto Club in Michigan and these type of tracks just fit my style, and I ran how I thought I should here tonight. It's wide and it's fast, and I had a blast. I wish I could have saved some tires, but I will definitely take it. Finally got to finish at this track. I didn't get caught speeding or wreck for once. Thank you to my family, my teammates, the Venom boys, and you guys in the booth. And thank you, as always, for the statement for Jeremy McKinnon. Third podium of the season for him. Congratulations. Yeah, hopefully we get to hear from Jeremy after one of these podium finishes. But even though he's running part-time this season, he's still potentially in the running for the chase. So we'll have to see as the weeks roll along here how Jeremy continues to fare. But after reading the statement, it is now time for a statement win and a comment from the driver himself. Hunter Engraff is back at Victory Lane for the 4th time here this season. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Welcome back. It feels like it's been a while, but we got you back up here in the booth. 4th win of the season. Strategy all across the board here tonight. So many lanes to work with, but it just comes down to raw speed at the end of it all. How did we feel coming into the night? I know you've got a win here in the truck, in Truck 200, and that speed certainly seemed to translate.
Yeah, that was stressful. Not a lot of practice. I did way more practice for last night race that didn't go as planned and everything, so I was a little nervous coming into it. I knew I won here before, but I knew they changed the settings on the truck, and I kind of watched the old Venom race to try to get a little bit of a clue. And it just seemed like the longer you could stay out, the tires still won over the undercut. So I knew when I saw Andy pit, I was just buying my time. And what basically made me really had to pit was Jan, because I know Jan's hard to pass and everything, and I want to make sure I didn't have to burn up my stuff too much. Trying to pass him, so I pitted a few laps earlier than what I wanted to, but it all worked out very well in the end.
Matt, what do you got for the race winner?
Well, I would certainly say it worked out well in the end for you. But congratulations on the win here. I mean, it looked like a couple of points here when we were getting those long green flag runs. It looked like you were visibly kind of backing off a little bit to make sure that you had good tires later on in the run. I mean, was that the case that you were backing off early in the runs and then pushing later?
Yeah, that first stint, I knew Ryan was telling me if we can make it to 37 laps, you could cut out one stop. So that was the plan at the beginning. Let's try to save fuel and save that right front, because the right front would melt away. And after the first year, I was kind of just trying to play smart and just trying to save the tires. And I knew Chad was doing a little better, so I kept trying to watch in the mirrors, trying to figure out what he was doing. And it kind of worked a little bit, kind of reduced the gap. And yeah, just after that, I just kind of understood how to save the tire the best without losing a lot of speed. And yeah, and then that last stint, there was no saving tires. It was just had to go.
Well, nice job here tonight. It's great to get you back up here as a race winner. After an interesting couple of weeks for you here on Tuesday nights, we get you back to the top step and moving in the right direction, headed to next week's All-Star race at Slinger, which is going to be really, really interesting to say the least. But shout outs for you here today.
Yeah, you guys always been doing a phenomenal job of broadcasting. I would like to thank my teammates, Corey, Brody, who came back finally, and Ryan Dyer. Hope his bad luck changes. He's had some really bad luck.
Yeah.
And my mom and my dad. Also shout out to my mom. Yesterday was her birthday, so I was hoping I would do good yesterday. Shout out, but I failed. So shout out to mom. Happy birthday. And thanks to all the admins for always putting this on. It's a cool league, for sure. It's a lot different than some of the other leagues, for sure, and it's really fun.
Yeah, happy birthday to Mrs. Engrav, and hopefully you celebrated well. And a nice late present here tonight with the shout-out and the victory. Congratulations. Go party hard. We'll talk to you again here soon.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Matt, this was a rowdy bunch here tonight. Big thanks, as always, not only to Michael Dean, but also to everybody with Asset Technology Group for making the chat lively. I think we were up to 32 viewers at one point, which is spectacular. We haven't had that in a long time. So thank you very much to everybody that came out, including
and the aforementioned Pamela Engrav. Happy late birthday to you, as well as Zach Lockett here in the chat after the race. Mr. 1048 NASCAR was really giving us a good show here in the chat tonight. Fun to see you here. And of course, Asset Technology Group in the chat as well. Stickers McQueen, Flinky Roberts, Charlie Benton. Who else is here? Biology Boggs, Josh Jordan. No, there was Zach Lyles here earlier as well. Rob Williams, unfortunately, was in the chat earlier than he would have hoped for. Lucas Ward tuning in here tonight as well. Cornelio, Joshua Motorcheck, Andrew, Nathan Reynolds, of course, Eddie, Cole Maxwell, and I think that was it. Hopefully I got everybody. If I didn't, I do apologize. But thank you for tuning in, chatting with us here tonight. And everybody else that was watching, like Tommy said, big viewership here tonight. All thanks to the folks at ATG and Michael Dean. Very, very much appreciated. If you did like what you saw and want to support us, you can subscribe. It would help us out, and it's free. But if not, thank you for the support regardless. And I am going to be absent for the next 2 days, Tommy, but go ahead and tell the folks what we got coming up.
So it'll be the May party tomorrow night at the 2008 Phoenix for the Daredevil series. A little bit of not quite short track racing, but might as well be short track racing for the drivers of the Daredevil series. That'll be 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. Thursday night, the Max VC and Single Designs Truck Series will roll into Richmond short track trucking on Thursday at 9:15 p.m. Eastern time. Again, if you missed the bulletin, we're not going to be live on Sunday afternoon for the Sunday Top Split Strength of Field broadcast because I have some real-life broadcasting to do. So we will broadcast that at a later date. Monday night, it will be the return of Matt Williamson, first of all. Very important to note that. But it'll also be the Ghost Squadron Formula Super Series, round number 2 from Donington Park. That will be an exciting one that you won't want to miss. When did we go live? About 8:45 Eastern last night? Something like that. 8:40-ish. Somewhere around that time. I hope to see you back here Monday night. And then I believe next week is the All-Star race for the Venom Truck Series, and that will be at Slinger for the Venom's Night of All-Stars. That is going to be... that's going to be interesting, to say the very least, for a number of reasons. So we'll hope to see you back here 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time next Tuesday night for the All-Star race. You won't want to miss that, that's for sure. But that is all we got for you here tonight. Thank you to everybody with Asset Technology Group. Thank you to Michael Dean. Thank you to everybody with the Venom Truck Series and all the admin teams for stepping up and making some big rule changes here this week. And some sweeping changes that certainly help the product out here tonight. Greatly appreciate each and every one of their contributions and help for the series. On behalf of the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson, until we meet again from Auto Club Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations to Hunter and Grab on career victory number 4. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.